Hey guys, Isabel here. Welcome back to Railed In. So today is an exciting day for me because it's another Harry Potter merchandise review, which I love doing. Today's is super special. I've actually had it for a while, but haven't gotten a chance to show you guys what it is. This is something I've always wanted, probably since I was old enough to really comprehend what was going on in the very first Harry Potter movie, because it does deal with the philosopher/sorcerer's stone, depending where you live. And my mom got this for me as a graduation gift when I graduated my undergrad. So I'm super excited to finally show it to you guys and talk about it and just kind of geek out over it. I'm super happy to have it to my collection. I'm also like literally sweating because this thing is super heavy and struggling to get it out of the box that I usually keep it in. But let's open it again and oh. I usually do keep it in here. I don't know if you can see a little bit on the camera, but I'll tell you about it right now. What I have here is a replica to the Final Challenge chess set from the Philosopher's Stone / Sorcerer's Stone, the movie, and it's really beautiful. Let me just take it out of here completely so you guys can see completely. So guys, here it is. This is the base, the chessboard to, it's really heavy, to the final chess set. This is made out of metal, or at least what feels like metal, and it has, they're really like red, kind of fake gemstones, but here they're like red rubies around the chessboard. And even though they're not real rubies, they definitely look real. Makes a very lovely edge to the piece. Also, have to be really delicate, and I can't remember if this happened during shipping or just because like trying to take it out one too many times. One of the red pieces did come off, but I just have to glue it back in really. It's only one corner piece. And then the edges, the four corners of the board, they have what looks like a white gem, kind of. So like the red ruby gems border the black and white chessboard. The four corners are white gemstones that look like. The outer border has a black and white alternating pattern design with the Harry Potter insignia in the middle of each of the four corners. On each of the black and white designs, it has what looks like little arrows pointing upwards, and if you actually run your fingers through it, you can feel the indentations of the arrows. On the outer edge of the board itself, there are arching designs also etched with lines, which you can also feel and run your fingers through. Just another elegant detail to the board. Also, this chessboard is from the Noble Collection for $395 before like fees and taxes and stuff like that. So it's not a cheap set, but honestly one that I've always wanted. I'm so glad that I have. And also on the four corners of the chessboard, they act as a stand, so the board is elevated on whatever surface you lay it on. And the elevated corners are actually columns, what looks like a door carved in the center. And it's an elegant black color, and the door itself seems to be painted a sort of metallic silver, so it stands out a little bit more. The actual checkered board itself is lovely, actually resembles the one in the movies. Each square is bordered by what looks like a sort of mosaic, a little bit colorful pattern, which I think is really nice. It distinguishes one square from the other. And I believe the square design itself is probably printed like on a piece of paper, and then there is what feels like plexiglass resting over the printed image. So another little detail there. You know, you're not going to ruin the image unless you end up scratching the glass somehow. And under the four corners that are the feet of the board, there is felt lining, so you won't scratch whatever surface or table you want to display the chessboard set on. So you guys are probably wondering, Isabel, the chessboard looks really nice, but where are the chess pieces? Well, they are resting in this gigantic black box, which is also heavy. And in silver, it has the Harry Potter insignia, the logo. And they rest in here in their own little cases. I am going to put this chessboard aside and take out the pieces and show you guys. And then I'll bring the chessboard back and we'll set up the whole thing and see how that looks. I really need to invest in like a table. Okay, so I'm gonna try to open it facing, actually it comes off completely. There's a lot of cat hair on here. So it comes with these foam inserts you leave on top to keep them all together and protected. So this is what they look like when they're in their proper places inside of their, I guess, cartridges. This is not like a foam, silk, or fabric that some of the higher quality wand boxes use. It's more like a plasticky mold to keep them together, which I don't really like. I kind of wish it was more soft because I've taken these out before. Every time I do, I'm always scared that if like I pull hard enough, some part's gonna break off. And I hope it doesn't because this is pretty expensive and I would literally be so sad. But we have the black side and we have the white side. The detailing on these, as I will show you guys soon, is literally amazing. Like it's not just pure black or white. They each have like I will show you. So I'll show you one of each of the pieces and then I'm going to set up the board. So let's start with the black side. We'll start with a pawn. Oh, I'm so scared to take these out. Oh my God. So here we have the pawn as seen in the first Harry Potter movie. He is what looks like a squatting knight on a column pillar. There is a shield strapped to his back. He is wearing foot armor and chainmail, and you can even see the design of the leather strap of the shield on his body. It's quite amazing, honestly, the detail. The chainmail, it looks like you can see each individual ring. Really attention to detail. He's wearing an armored helmet with a face guard. You can see his breathing holes in the face guard. He's in an arms crossed position, and we know from the movie that's to hold his two swords that he can then retract as needed. And if you look closely on the back side, you can even see the points of the sheaths for the swords that he's carrying. I just love the attention to detail. The shield on his back has a cross on it, and inside of the cross is a lovely circular star pattern if you look really carefully. So this is something that I think probably the Noble Collection pays most attention to. I personally feel like just because the details on this is literally amazing. So like I said earlier, it's not just pure black, it's black, but there's gold, what I would call scrapes, just like gold detailing. If you're a cosplayer and you make armor kind of like this that I made out of foam a while ago, a technique is just getting like a dry brush and getting silver paint and just kind of scraping it over the edges or places that you want to have looked a little bit more worn and wear and tear. So it's kind of nice to see that, especially on the edges here of the columns and on some of the angular surfaces that we have. Just, you know, they do look like they've been through battle and that they're old and ancient, and just it really adds an extra layer, I think, which is honestly so cool to see. And they're heavy. Like, I'm not exactly sure what they're made out of, probably some sort of resin, but they look like they could be metal. They look unique. They look like they're the real deal, honestly. Like, it looks like this chess set is like hundreds of years old and you got it maybe at like an antique store or something. It's really amazing. So we saw the black version of the pawn. Let's look at the white version. So here is the white version of the pawn. The design is pretty much the same, you know, kneeling, I guess knight with a shield on his back on a pillared column in armored regalia. So this is white and also has the same gold scraping as I mentioned earlier. But this time the gold actually, because I think it's paired with the white, makes it look a little bit more like rose gold in a way. So it just kind of adds that extra elegance to the white chess pieces on the board. There are certain things I find interesting. So on the black pieces, you can see things more like armor and larger designs a little bit better. But on the white and gold combination, you can see the more subtle designs. So I was telling you earlier about how the shield has a cross and inside the cross is a pattern. You can actually see that pattern better on the white piece here. And each piece that I will be showing you does also have a felt bottom, so it won't scratch the plexiglass that I mentioned earlier on the chessboard, nor if you just wish to display them somewhere else. Now, I have played chess with this before. My friend Jessica, who did the Harry Potter candy taste test with me. Jessica, if you're watching, hey, what's up? She did teach me how to play chess a little bit, but off the top of my head, can't remember which piece like comes right after the other. So I'm just gonna show you guys basically just like what I have here, just like in random order. So we looked at the pawn and right in front of me. Wow, my chess is really, it's really going. Let's look at the knight. I know which one is the knight. Because these don't look like regular, like the original, you know, chess pieces, sometimes it's hard for me to discern which chess piece is like the bishop, the king, queen, the knight. I mean, this guy is obviously the knight. We know that. The one that Ron rides. Not me, not Hermione, you. And this, even from the movie, has always been my favorite piece. I was a horse girl when I was younger. I'll proudly admit it. So, you know, I've always loved seeing this guy. But again, this piece is on a pillared bottom. The pillar is shorter than the pawn, but still a columned pillar stand. The horse, as we all know from the movie, is rearing. His front legs are kicking everywhere. And the attention to detail on the horse's armor is honestly something else. In the back here we have what I'm assuming is some sort of fabric with like pieces of metal. I'm not really know too much about like historic armor, but I'm just guessing based on things that I've seen that this is more of a fabric with the, you know, metal plated into it to protect the horse. What's really interesting, and I don't know if you'll be able to tell from this video and also the close-up I'll be showing you guys, but on the back there are 2 points, which I'm assuming in real life would be metal points, decoration as well as also maybe some protection. So that is a detail. They didn't have to add like 3D points to this, and not only is it on the back, it's also the front 2 sides. It was the very front of the horse's armor itself. You can see a chainmail saddle as well as a saddle back actually holding the rider up. The horse's neck has a chainmail coat as well as the metal rungs on the back of the horse's neck. The reins also have a metal design carved onto it, as well as certain parts of the actual cloak for the horse itself, which again, they did not have to do, but it's just, you know, adding little details like that is truly amazing. The knight itself is holding a mace. The mace is actually quite spiky, fun detail. You can see the ridges of his armor. Again, a face shield for the knight. Just like typical knight armor, honestly, is just what this guy's wearing. He has a larger and longer shield than the pawns. The design, though, is the same with a cross on the shield, and then inside the cross is the same design as I described earlier. I love the black and gold detailings on the knight piece. I think the gold really pops. It really helps show some of the designs on the reins, and the horse's armored cloak are more like they've been like carved and etched in, so having the gold be rubbed upon it and then the etching is just black because the gold can't reach into the slits that it make, I think it's just really pops out the design. So really cool. You can see his foot, the knight's foot is in like a stirrup, and it's just amazing. The horse also has armor on his head, his face, and there's another metal point on the top here. So really amazing. Honestly, this is one of my favorite pieces, and it always has been. So again, same knight, but for the white chess piece, this one has a little bit less gold, but I don't mind that. Like I said earlier, you can see a bit more of like the intricate designs with the gold on the white than the black. On the knight's shield, we actually see pretty clearly what this design is. And I'm also now noticing that the players of the white and the players of the black have different designs within that cross on their shields. So the black has more of like an infinity loop looking design, while the white shield has more of a star, cross, circle design, which is kind of cool. Like that's actually a really interesting distinction I didn't realize that they made, but it makes sense if they're using the chess pieces as 2 opposing sides. And again, you can see the detailing on the armor a little bit better with the white and gold, but again, the mold is the same, so between the white and the black, except for, again, that shield design. So love seeing it. I really like, there to me personally is like no flaw in these chess pieces, and I'm always really careful to put them back how they're supposed to be, because like I said, I don't want things to break off or anything like that. There are a lot of pieces to chess that I did not realize. So I know there is a rook and there is a bishop. The one that I'm about to pull out, I think, is the bishop, just looking at like the design of it. So again, I'm gonna start with the black side. Please don't break on me. Because some of them they're really in here, and it's kind of difficult to get them out. I'm like literally sweating. This is why I wish they did a more softer mold, because I wouldn't be so fearful of taking them out, and I know they would also be protected. Jeez. I don't just want to rip him out because he's holding like a staff, and I don't want to break off the staff. Okay, got it. Whew, my God. But I think this guy here is the bishop. Again, like all these characters, he's on a pillared column, a pillared stand, and he looks more like a militarized bishop, which makes sense because these are all pretty much like medieval armored depictions of some sort. Yeah, the bishop himself is actually quite small compared, like he looks larger because he's standing on this stand, but he is holding a curved staff, and the curved staff has actually little knobs on the edge of it, so just a nice little texture to add there. He's wearing gloves and what looks like a bishop knight hat, like if you had a knight who was also a bishop and his armor needed the metal helmet, but the helmet was in the shape of a bishop's hat. Am I making sense? I feel like that makes sense. Again, the detail on it is amazing. His hat has designs, what looks like an upside down T cross section with, again, more designs and added textures. This isn't just like a 2D design piece. Like all the etchings and intricacies of their aesthetic literally pop out. So really cool. He's wearing what I call his armored like skirt on his hips. The typical foot armor is visible, as well as the knee plates and the shin plates and the thigh plates and everything. He's quite armored up. He's wearing a cloak, and you can see on the back the ruffles of the cloak as if it's flowing around him, which is amazing detail. His shield, I think, is the longest one of these pieces, and the design is the same as on the black other shields that I've described. Attached to his cloak is, and I don't know the proper name for it, but I'll call it his signifying robe piece. It's in a T shape. It goes across his collarbones and then all the way vertically down to his feet. And the design on it is a bit different than the one that's on his shield. It's more interlocking circles that form hollow patterns. So really cool design for him. Again, these are considered pretty like small pieces, so to have something so detailed is honestly amazing. And this is why this chess set is one of my favorite Harry Potter merchandises that I've been lucky enough to have. And I kind of call him the Mandalorian Bishop because he has like the T visor. His helmet just looks a little Mandalorian if you guys are Star Wars fans. So just kind of funny little nod for myself that I like to call him. And so we're going to go to the white chess piece of the bishop. And I hope this one comes out a bit easier than last time. I think it's the shield in the back. That's what makes him so difficult to take out. Okay. Whew. So again, this is the white chess piece with the gold accents. I think you can see the bishop's body a little bit better in the white and gold version. You can definitely see his knee, his knee armor. I don't know the right words for it, but the knee armor much clearly. His gloves stand out a little bit more as well in the white version. But I think the black chess piece did a better job at showing his design on the front of his robe here. But on the back of the robe, I think these folds are actually depicted a little bit better. The ruffles and the folds of his cape. I also just like love looking at them, and I feel like whenever I do find a place and the time to display this set specifically, I feel like I'm just gonna stare at it for hours and hours. Okay, now I believe this is the Rook of the chess pieces. He's more thick, and so I feel more easier. I feel like it's more easy to take him out. This guy is heavy, probably because his base is literally part of a castle. I wouldn't say it's a spire exactly, but pretty close to it. It's like a parapet, maybe that's the right word. I don't know. I'm not a medieval historian, architecture, or armor expert, so I'm trying my best with names. But as I said, this guy is super heavy. He is some sort of knight, I suppose, peeking out of this castle topper. If you guys know the right names, feel free to leave a comment. But it's really amazing because you can see like each individual brick of the building that he's standing on top of. This has 8 sides to it, and you can see each individual side comes to a sharp point, so it's not like a very circular, unrealistic architecture piece. It really is, you can kind of even imagine someone like building this out of stone. And the top here has the typical, I would say, design of what most people think of when they think of castles. So each individual brick here, again, you can kind of tell it's like someone actually built it because they have edges in the middle where like 2 bricks would come together to meet. It's really amazing. And just the design right below it, again, I don't know the names for it, but honestly, one of my favorite pieces, very detailed. And his armor is actually my favorite. You can see little, what looks like a rope design in his chest plate. And then although his sword does look quite short, I'm sure it's quite in proportion with the rest of him. Again, love his armor. And I love the fact that this guy's faceplate is actually lifted, but he doesn't have a face. It's just a hollowed out area where a face would be, which makes it kind of creepy, but also I think goes with the magical effect of these are just, you know, they're transfigured entities that Harry, Ron, and Hermione are facing. They're not real. They're not statues of anyone important. They're just hollowed chess pieces. So you can really kind of tell with this piece in particular. And again, on this guy, we see more of a added extra protection to one of his shoulder, the shoulder that he faces the shield with. So obviously, if he's on the front line attack and someone's coming at him, that shoulder, the one that faces outward towards the enemy, would obviously need more protection. So really cool detail there. Again, this guy is an awesome piece, and he's heavy, and the shield, same design I've been talking about, but this one I think has a little bit more of a circular effect than the others. Also, sorry if it seems like I'm giving a lot more detail to the darker chess pieces and the white chess pieces, but as I said, the mold itself is the exact same except for a couple little designs on these pieces' shields, which actually, now that I'm looking at it, it could be the same design. It's just that, as I said, you can see it a lot more clearly on the white and gold pieces instead of the black and gold. So again, same castle structure with a knight popping out of it. You can still kind of see the design of the chess piece, but I think it shows better on the black pieces. What I like about this piece, though, is with the facelessness of the raised visor, because it's white and there are no like gold accents inside the face cavity. It looks more ghostly, which I think is kind of cool if you want to describe it as that. Okay, so this one I do always get confused. We're down to the king and the queen. I'm trying to remember Ron's words. And you're free to check the king. Okay, I'm gonna assume one is the king. Okay, I'm just gonna assume. If I'm wrong, so sorry. But I'm just assuming this, what I'm about to pull out, is actually the queen. You're free to check the king. Yeah, he says king, right? Queen? I don't know. One or the other. This guy, slash maybe girl, slash warrior, slash whatever, has like a little crown symbol on his head, on their head. So, wait, is this the one that... This is either the king or the queen. I'm really sorry if I don't know which one it is. But also a lovely design. Their columned pillar that they stand on top of is larger than the other ones that I've shown you guys. I love the details on this one for the sword. I love swords in general, and with the interlocking hands on top of the hilt, the pommel of the sword, you can just see the details of it. And it's like, if you stare at it, it's kind of like you're actually in the movie in the final chess challenge that the Golden Trio go through. The armor is a bit more elaborate. It's a bit more royal, if you will, because obviously it's for a king and or a queen. Again, so sorry, I don't know which one it is. But the armor itself is bulkier. It's meant to cover more area, so more of their body is protected from harm. The shield is also quite large, not as large as I think the bishop's is, but again, it's on the back of the statue here. And again, you can see the lovely design of the cross-section of the shield. The chainmail skirt that this guy wears is also quite detailed. Again, it's like you can see each individual link of the chainmail, which I know is always a hard detail, especially in something so small like this, but honestly, it's just amazing. And again, like I said, you can see like a little 3-pronged crown on top of the head here. I always think it's funny, like watching the like really staring at it. You can see all the details. The eye hole visor is very thin. I'm surprised if this was a real life figure they could see anything out of it. But the face plate also has the design of a crown on each of the cheeks here, which is a cool design I didn't even notice in the movies. So it's just cool to see, something, even though it's a smaller scale, something that's so detailed and something that they took so much time on. It's really a pleasure. Yeah, the bishop is definitely the hardest to get out of here, just because I feel like he has the most pieces that could easily break. Him and the knight with the mace and the staff. So again, the white version of the king and or queen. Sorry again for not knowing. The sword actually looks wider and bigger on the white and gold. I think that's just the coloring scheme, just makes it seem that way. But you can really see the detail. You can see the leather grip on the hilt of the sword. You can see the pommel looks like there might have been a jewel in the middle of it at one point. You can definitely see the cheek design of the crown a little bit better. It is a 3D design, so the crown does pop out of the cheek section of this figure. Really cool. Again, more heavy armor on this figure. And they really do look like they're made out of marble or some sort of stone. Okay, the last piece. Piece that I'm pretty sure Harry goes up to when he checkmates this character. This is the last chess piece, which honestly, this might be the queen because she's wearing a skirt, a chainmail skirt. So I think what I just showed you was the king and she's the queen, which means I also have to rewatch that scene because now I'm confused which one he checkmated. But anyway, so the other figure had interwoven fingers. This figure has interlocking fingers and the fingers are sticking up. Another cool detail to sort of distinguish the two. Instead of a sword, this figure holds what looks like a sort of staff. The staffing is very detailed. It has 3D elements popping out. Again, it's more of like a religious royal figure. So if any of you guys are like Catholic or Christian, there is like the apple of something, but it's essentially just like this orb with like a very extravagant golden cross on top. So that's kind of what this reminds me of, or like if you guys live in England or something, like the Queen's jewels, just like it embodies that same vibe essentially. So something I just noticed is that so these are all like full on, sturdy, I think some sort of resin, I'm assuming. But I'm assuming she's the queen. Her staff, as I said, actually bends and wiggles a little bit. So I would definitely have to be careful about that in the future and hopefully it doesn't snap. So I won't play with her too much. She also has a shield on her back with the same design that I have been talking about. So again, we have the white chest piece of the queen, her chainmail skirt that reaches her feet and covers her feet. She's also standing on a columned pillar. She just looks very calm and collected in this one. And again, this staff, you can see the design of the staff a little bit better. Each individual hill and valley of the design, again, the attention to detail is honestly amazing. The queen has a cape it has like a really high backed collar, which is kind of cool and definitely distinguishes her, I think, from the other chess pieces as well. And the back of the collar also has a design that I just now noticed. It's like you can see some of the stitching on, like if this was an actual piece of fabric, which again, literally amazing. All right, so I described the entire of the chess pieces to you guys, so let me try and set up the chessboard as accurately as I hope I can, and then I'll show you guys what that looks like. So this chessboard, I think, is actually a square, so like a perfect square, so it doesn't really matter how you orient it. One side isn't going to be longer than the other. Okay, so I think that is all set up correctly, hopefully. So the pawns are obviously there's like 2 rows. The pawns are in the front, the bishop, the knights, the rooks, and then the king and the queen. The bishops and the rooks honestly might be switched around. I feel like they could go either way. Just going off of memory alone. So hopefully it's accurate. If it's not, of course, feel free to leave a comment. But yeah, this is the Harry Potter chess set replica it's from the Noble Collection. And again, like, I love the Noble Collection. I think they do outstanding work. And I just love this piece so much. I can honestly just stare at it all day long, and I would never get sick of the view. Each piece is so intricate, so well detailed. The attention to detail on this and pretty much all of the Noble Collection's work is literally amazing. I even said to my mom when I was younger, I was like, one day I will get a chess set of my own, and it's gonna be the Harry Potter one. It's gonna be something unique and different and beautiful, and this chess set covers that entire description. And I've been literally talking for almost an hour without cutting. Hopefully I can get down to 30 minutes with cutting, because there's a lot of pauses and unboxing and things like that. But I hope you guys enjoyed my merchandise review of the Final Chess Set Challenge from the Noble Collection, my Harry Potter merchandise review. This and the Sword of the Gryffindor, which I've also done a review on, is my favorite. They're my favorite pieces, honestly. But guys, be sure to like on the video, comment, do you have one? Are you saving up for one? Let me know what you thought of the pieces that I showed you. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and comments. And be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future Harry Potter merchandise reviews. And shortly I will be doing my Lord of the Rings merchandise reviews, since the Rings of Power will be coming out soon. I'll be reacting and discussing that as well. So yeah, be sure to check out the channel if any of that sounds interesting to you. But guys, that's all I got for you today. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.